Day 46. Keeping it going. Getting more organized today. It's Wednesday. I feel like I'm already doing that thing where I feel really overwhelmed the first 2 days and then I feel better. We have a couple meetings with some people about crime statistics later today, and hopefully they have some good stuff for us and it's not too expensive, or it's really terribly made and we can make our own better. Who knows? We'll find out. But just had a good conversation with Sean, and just I think we're on the same page about. I'm kind of obsessed with Jeff Bezos right now. I just feel like he's one of the few people that kept his entrepreneurial spirit throughout the whole process of becoming a billionaire, and the customer focus and pioneering and inventing and staying hungry. And I don't know, it's remarkable. It's really interesting that a human was able to do that, because it feels like that's all humans aren't capable of that we all kind of lose track of what made us the way we were at the beginning once our needs are met. I feel like there's a whole hierarchy of needs, and people usually start at the lower rungs, and they dream and work and scratch and claw to get to the higher ones and have privilege and have money and have power. And then I think they usually they lose that hunger, and I think the best people in the world are getting better at it because they're seeing others that have done that before and lost sight of it. But I think he's one of them that's stuck to it and built a whole, $1 trillion or whatever, a couple $1 trillion company about it. So I don't know, something to look. I think I've never met the guy, obviously. I don't know anything about him as the human. I hear he's kind of a dick, but it's definitely remarkable. And the name of the game is remarkability. Remarkable right now. How do I be remarkable? How do I build something remarkable? How do I get people to talk about our company because it's so remarkable? That's the hard part, and I think at the very least, Sean and I have a really great understanding of that so far. And I think we navigated this whole company name thing so far pretty well. And I think it's easy to get all upset with each other, but we really haven't gotten into any tiffs yet. And I don't expect us to either. I don't think either of us. I think I have more of a personality to get upset than he does about something that's important. But I'm gonna really try to turn it off and remind myself this is a job that I can get fired from or get a bad performance review from. I think that's the hard thing, is that's true. That even in a startup, the best founders, the best people can get fired if they're not treating each other's or reminding each other's that we're all human too. I don't think I'm making sense very much, but I think there's something there that I need to take what I've learned in healthcare with me, that you have to ask people about their day first before you start a meeting. You have to kind of have reflections in meetings and things. You have to really remember these are humans. They're not robots that are built to work for you or to agree with you or to do your bidding. And how do you build with them, not in spite of them? And I think the name is the perfect example of that because it's so personal. It's so hard to really like have data behind. Like it's really hard to argue that someone's name is better or worse to someone else. It's kind of like what kind of food do you like? Like everyone has their own preference. I mean, obviously we all like pizza, but names aren't. There's pizza names are gone. They're not. That's not a real name anymore. Like the best ones are all gone, and you know, I think my time in healthcare, especially with working with one person in particular for a long time that I had a tough relationship with because they were just so strong-headed, and I had to be very like understanding over and over again. And this person worked for me. It's not that they were my boss or like somebody. They were my employee, and it's. I don't feel like I'm making a lot of sense today, but I will say this. I think I'm gonna try to do my best Jeff Bezos impression. I think that is a really good idea. I think it's easy to hate on successful people when you have no idea what it took to get there for them and what they've had to overcome. And the more I humanize billionaires and pretend I can be one like them, the more I understand their greatness better. And it's not that they accidentally fell into this, they were born with this, they did whatever, like that's not even that they're geniuses. It's that they're legitimately just really, really good at self-improvement and blind spots detection. It's both. You have to detect your blind spots and you have to improve on them over and over and over and over again. And I think that's what this year's been about so far for me, is see my blind spots, go attack them. And I think this process of the process of this with Sean and everything was a blind spot of mine. Like, how do so my first blind spot was, how do I build something that I'm proud of and tell people about it? And so from I'd say February or March until May, that's what I did. I built something that I was proud of. I know it's stupid, but I built a wrapper on GPT that you would put in your information and it would, write a cover letter for you or whatever. It would write a cover letter, a poem, a recipe, letter of recommendation, wedding vows, wedding speeches. It would do a lot of these things. And I know it's stupid and no one wants to pay for it. I've yet to have one person buy anything on it. It's all I'm just it's just free for people to use, I guess. And that's it. That's all it is. And that's fine. But it opened my eyes because I really legitimately tried to market it for about a week and a half. And so it's probably my fault that I quit too early, which is another blind spot of mine, I guess. But that brought me to May, and then May is when I met Sean. And Sean's a very long-term, deep thinker. And he doesn't quit things. He doesn't start things he's going to quit, He is either in or out on a whole bunch of years towards something. And that opened my eyes to the next rung of my blind spots, which is that I've never done something like that before. I've never committed myself to something that clearly. And I've always been a 3 weeks in, 3 weeks out kind of person. And that's what this is about too, is not being 3 weeks in, 3 weeks out on everything. Be done with that part of my life, being 3 weeks in, 3 weeks out. And that's why it's been a really cool last 2.5, 3 months, meeting this person and trying to be more like them and understand blind spots there. And so I feel like I'm moving my blind spots every time I start to understand some of them, I see the next level, like the next part, the deeper. I'm going deeper into the tunnel of my flashlight's getting deeper into the tunnel of things that are growth opportunities for me. And that's when I started this. I started this to go deeper into the tunnel of being open and being more secure in myself and not hiding away and being accountable. And I think this has been really good to like it doesn't let me make up what my life is like in my head. It forces me to watch myself see what my life is like. Shows me how many good days I have, how many bad days I have, how many neutral days I have. I can't make up fake data, fake stories. I can't make up things that didn't happen and then say that they are true. It literally is on tape and it's on the internet. It's literally posted like that. I can't like, this is so helpful to me to see my life back and see the parts that I'm doing and not doing, and the parts that I'm exaggerating and the parts that I'm avoiding, and be honest about it, you know? So this has been a huge, like, another flashlight looking down a tunnel. And, you know, and as we have more conversations about, me and Sean, about the company, about where we're heading, what to do, how to think about problems, how to stay focused, I feel like I'm understanding new blind spots, and I'm looking for new answers for those blind spots. And I feel like in a lot of ways this is the grease that like keeps the flywheel moving, you know, of me learning and growing. Without this, I start to lose track of if I'm growing or not. And this is annoying and hard, and I don't like doing it because it's like out of my character. And, you know, after 46 days, I don't feel like I have a lot to say. You know, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I just want to like go work, or I want to, you know, not work or whatever. But it's necessary evil. There's no way around this. There's no way to grow without being accountable. I think that's very true. You can, I guess, you can, but it takes 10 times as long. Like it took me probably like 3 or 4 years worth of therapy to like really feel better, like actually feel better, like without therapy as much. And it took my life to improve too. It took me like finding a wife and, you know, starting to have kids and stuff too. Like it took a lot of that for me to start feeling better and not feel so like sad and uncomfortable and overwhelmed all the time. But I think it would have been sped up a lot. I don't know for a fact, but I think it would have been sped up a lot if I did something like this, because I can't make up anything, you know, in my head. I can't say, oh, the last 4 days have been the worst, or I can't. It is right here. And maybe I should start documenting what if I had a good day or bad day or a neutral day like yesterday, you know, and see it back for myself. Maybe that's the next level of this. Like, because when I have a bad day, I feel so much worse than it requires, you know, than it actually is. And I feel like it's never going to end, you know, it's just forever. And, you know, and I want to be healthy. I want to like lose weight, and I want to, get some abs and some arms and some shoulders. I've never been able to put on muscle my whole life. It's been like I've been a little kid in my head and in real life forever. I've never been able to put on weight, and I think think that's the next step of this. I'm losing weight pretty quickly, actually. I'm back down to 168 today. Actually, I'm 167. So I'm lower than I have before we went on vacation again. Before I had all those red days, I was 168 and a half, and now I'm down to 167.8 or 0.9. So I'm getting close. I think when I get to like 163, I don't know. We'll see how I look and feel. At some point around 163, I think that's when I'm going to start trying to add muscle and do it actively. Do it with this, And honestly, I don't like working out. I don't like adding muscle. It's not fun for me to be sore all day. I'm kind of I make decisions based off avoiding pain, not pleasure. There's two different types of people that avoid pain and people that head towards pleasure. And my wife is a head towards pleasure person. I am a avoid pain person. This is why I don't like going on vacation, because if the struggle of getting there and getting back is more overwhelming than the amount of enjoyment I'm going to have in my head, But I in some ways I can't believe I'm doing it, Like, you might look and say like 29 days of eating healthy, like that's a long time, but it's just one day at a time, I just today, like all you have to do is worry about today. Today, I'm going to eat healthy and be under my 1,500 calories. And pretty soon, in probably like a week and a half, well, and then I got another vacation coming up, I guess, but I'll probably gain some of it back there. But pretty soon, I'm going to be back to it. Like, actually, I could have the body I've always dreamed of, All I have to do is make every square green every day. That's it, And I'll keep growing as a person as long as I keep every square green, And I'm gonna have good days and bad days, but I gotta keep them green, because when they're green, overall, I'm getting more good days than bad days. Every green square day, I increase the percentage chance that it's a good day for the next day or for today. Because at least I have something to hold on to, that I did something good that day. It wasn't a total failure. And I'm still growing, This is like a weird visual competition with myself. And I like it, and I'm also like documenting what's happening with our startup in case this ever is helpful to anybody, I guess, about in that realm. And I know these are boring as hell, but I'm sure they'll be interesting maybe eventually. And I think I just keep looking for more blind spots. So right now I know one of my blind spots is marketing. So I'm reading a bunch of marketing books, because I don't think I feel comfortable in that realm. But, I have to find some more. I have to keep going, finding blind spots, I mean, for a long time, back in like 2014, oh my God, it's almost like 10 years ago. That's crazy. 2015. I was in this, I tried to attack one of my blind spots back then. And I joined this like comedy film club, and we would like make stupid videos and talk about making stupid videos and hang out with each other and whatever. And it wasn't like there was like this 12-person group with like 2 or 3 people. It was just a couple of us. And I just needed friends, honestly. That's why I joined it too. And we signed up for this competition to you get like 48 hours to like make a 5-minute video of something, and you guys all submit it and compete and everything. And I learned a huge lesson that day. It was a very frustrating first 24 hours for me, because I did what I always do, is I have no experience, only my own thoughts, and I think I know better than everyone else. And I do this all the time. And this was such a literal, perfect example of this. I've never made a video like this before in my life. I've never been in one of these competitions before in my life. I'm among 5 or 10 people that have all done it before, and I know better, you know? And I'm up till 4 or 5 a.m. writing this script that I think is good to be funny, that I think is funny, or that I don't think it's good, but I think it's better than the one we're going to do. So we were going to go on, pick a script, and I've never written a script before, but I know better. So I stay up all night writing a different script. And then I walk in at 8 a.m. when we're all supposed to start filming it the next day. And and the whole cast goes, Brian, we're not going to use your script. We're going to use this one. And I go, but mine's better. And they go, no, it's not. And I go, yes, it is. I wrote it. I stayed up all night. And they go, it might be better. I don't know, but we can't do stuff in that one. We don't have time. You didn't think think about that. You wrote this thing that's going to take us 20 days to film. It doesn't, even if it was better, we can't do it, but it's not better also. And I was so upset that I got voted off the island. I got voted that this was not helpful, that I almost left. I almost quit on the spot. I almost said well then F you guys, it's not. But I didn't. Thank God. For whatever reason, I said, you signed up for this thing, just don't quit. Just stick it out. And the funniest thing happened. I did the thing. They put me as a cast member in the thing. I had some lines. It was fun. It was interesting, and I did my best. And it's funny because later I was telling somebody about the script I wrote, and they were like, that sounds like it was, that sounds like an awful script. I would never watch that or think that was funny. And because I'm a dark humor person, and I was like, oh, well, you have to realize that it was this and it was that, and it was this kind of joke, that kind of joke. And they're like, I think that's kind of insensitive, actually. I think, and I honestly, the ironic thing is, even if I paid everyone to do my script, even if I held all the cards, like I'm trying to do with the startup, even if I held everything in my hand and I chose everything we could ever wanted, I picked every little piece of it, and I had Hollywood directors and actors. If I had every resource at my disposal to execute on my vision, I would have made something that was deeply offensive to a whole bunch of people without realizing it, because I just was ignorant, and I probably still am in a lot of ways, and I'm trying to fix that, but thank God that I didn't have those tools or resources, because I would have been way in the deep end. And I would have felt so bad, so guilty. You just get so in your own head about an idea or what's funny. It's so hard to know what's funny until you give it to somebody. And I've never done that before. And of course my hard-headedness, thought I knew better and everything. And, I think about that moment all the time where I made that decision to stay instead of quit. And because that happens all the time in business. I think I have a great idea, and the company name is the perfect example. I think I have a great idea, and Sean goes, yeah, it's okay. And my first instinct is always to just to shout at that person and say you don't understand anything. You know how hard I've worked on this. I stayed up all night. You don't get it. And but it's always the same answer. It's always why don't we just take a couple days, Brian, before we think that we just solved world hunger and this is the greatest idea ever? Because so far, the other 999 times, it hasn't been. It's been actually a pretty awful idea when someone gets feedback like that. And the best ideas rise to the top, eventually. Like even our pad stats name. Like when I first pitched it, Sean was like, yeah, it's okay. And the more he thought about it, the more he likes it. And now I don't like it. Now I'm trying to think of other names. So it's like I'm trying to beat it. That's my optimization problem is I keep trying to optimize everything and keep beating everything. But my point is, with the story is I think one of the hardest parts of being a founder, other than staying customer focused and other than staying hungry, is to realize that like you don't know better than anyone else, especially in stuff you've never done before. Like we're going to be in industries working on projects that I've never been in that industry before. And thank God I've been in manufacturing and healthcare, and I realized how different they are, to know that one size does not fit all. Like you cannot, like in manufacturing, when you want to get your way, you start yelling at people. And in healthcare, when you want to get your way, you start talking more softly. You start doing the opposite. Because the more softly you talk, the more people want to help you. And it's so funny. Like, and so now we're going to enter a new industry, and I don't know anything about it, but I need to keep reminding myself that I don't know anything about it, because I think I'm smart. I think I can answer questions and do things. But at the end of the day, I have never interacted with one of our target customers for more than a couple hours ever in my entire life. To think that I know best or know who they are or what they are and what they want, like I need to keep reminding myself that I have no idea, and I need to listen 100 times more than I am right now. And I think I listen pretty well, but I think I still got to go way, way deeper into listening and understanding and realizing I know nothing. I think that's the hard part in startups and in business, I think in general, is to like continuously remind yourself that you know nothing, even when you're told you have great success and money and everything, is to still get it down to like the bare bones problem and details and solution, and keep it simple and everything. So I know that was like a winding Bezos into life story, into story time, but I think about that film club weekend all the time. And every time I get that feeling again, like I need to yell at you and tell you how great my idea is and how hard I worked at it. I remember that feeling that I literally like just started shaking. I had to like clench my fists and start shaking and walk out of the room. So I didn't just start like yelling at everybody about how smart and better I am at everything. That's just a huge blind spot of mine that I need to keep beating with a hammer, like keep putting that monster in the corner and locking him back down, like that, like just keep knocking that monster back into the corner with like, that's a huge blind spot of me and my character, that it comes out all the time, and I don't want it to. I don't let it. It just happens. It's so involuntary. It's because I do have good ideas on small things throughout the day and the week and the month. And then after like 9 or 10 of those, I have this good big idea. And I think that I know better than anyone ever, about that one thing, because I had a lot of small wins or whatever assumptions up to that point. And then that monster gets let out, and it just feels like I'm invincible. It's a power rush. It feels like I know more than anyone about everything. And it's so hard to put it back in the cage, and it takes someone saying no to you and you hearing it. That's the hardest part, is hearing the no and taking it literally, take a real no and say, okay, I guess I'm wrong. That's the hardest thing to do, I think, in that moment, is like to just go, okay, I guess I'm wrong about that. I think with every inch of me that I'm right about this, but the world is giving me feedback. This person is giving me feedback that I'm wrong about that, and they're right. And I've always struggled with this because like in a startup or in a new company or in a new position, like and I've always been pegged as like the change agent person. Like that's been my like go-to thing the job I've had, the occupation or whatever, the title I've had. I'm supposed to walk in there and make changes. And the hardest part about that is figuring out who to listen to, because I'm supposed to walk in there and say everyone's wrong and stupid politely, but they're usually not, like there's a reason for a lot of the ways they're doing stuff or how they're doing it or the why. And it's not about ignoring them. It's about compromising with them about what's possible, or opening their brain about what's better. And I guess I'm just really getting this down on tape that I totally did it again about this name thing. And I caught myself again because I reminded myself of the film club story. And I wouldn't have that story to be reminded of if I never reflected and I never gave someone the benefit of the doubt, and just said, okay, that was growth. That was a huge growth moment for me. And now I can use that as a step stool to go deeper into that growth and to be less upset when that's happening and to be more willing to hear the no and take it. And with this whole Sean name thing, I really, really, really tried hard to take the no in stride, and it helps me. This is why I don't want to be CEO, because I know that will go all to my head and I won't be able to like keep it straight. I don't know what job title I'm going to have in this company we're building. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I actually do. I just kind of build everything that he can't build, it's like kind of funny, but, I know I don't want to be CEO because that my blind spot, my monster will come out of the closet in full vengeance eventually and often. And I will be stuck on an island with no money and no power and no employees and no one liking me because I will not put it back. I will not realize the monster's out, And that's why it really helps me to be reminded that it's his company. We might be 50-50 partners, but I need to keep being reminded that it's his company, it's his idea, it's his industry. And I do not know more than him for at least several years, and I need to really keep reminding myself that, I do not know more than him. I do not know more than most people. I do not know more than my wife about anything to do with healthcare. I don't know more than a lot of people about anything. I don't know more than almost anyone about anything, I think I really need to be reminded of that because I take the quick wins and then I put them in placards and I put them around my house and I think I'm the genius of the world, but that doesn't mean that because I can, predict a few things or anticipate a few problems that I can create huge scale, big ideas without any effort or without any feedback or without any revisions. Like I've spent probably 40 hours trying to pick a name for this company. And I have a list of like 200 names. And it's so funny. Every single time I come up with one, it's the best idea on earth for like 3 hours. Every single time. And this has been a great just like the podcast, like just doing it over and over again. Come up with another name, another name. Oh, that one's so good. That one's better. That one's better. And eventually one rises to the top, but I can't do it in a vacuum. First of all, I need support and I need people to have their own perspective on it. And I can't do it without revisions, you know? Like, I need to be reminded from now on that despite right now us picking my name that I thought of because I worked so hard on it, there were 200 other times I thought I had the perfect name, and we might even, and now I don't even like that name, first of all, but like, I don't hate it, but I'm always looking to optimize. But I guess the last thing I'm trying to say is I need to be reminded that it took 300 revisions to get to this point, that my very first idea was probably the worst one, It was definitely the least thought out one, which probably makes it the worst one. My first idea is the least thought out one and therefore the worst one. Even if I end up picking it as the best answer at the end, the lack of being thought out makes it the worst one. I like that. I like that period at the end of that. So, okay, well, that's enough ranting for me. But I did like reflecting on that story. That's going to help me in the future and identify better blind spots and hopefully take my flashlight further. So, but I'll keep working on my blind spots, and I'll keep working on our company, and I'll keep working on everything else I got to do to keep my goals green. And we'll be here for tomorrow. So thanks. I'll see ya.